With this presentation I'll demonstrate how you would create an assembly. You'll start by clicking on Assemblies and Assemblies. Over here, the button on the top, you'll notice each of these have got their own unique ID. So I'll create a new ID. I'll make this all zeros so that we can identify it, and I want to use this assembly we're creating in an estimate later on. So we'll say add, and the assembly name is passage door 820. So that'll do. Now the unit of measurement, well, that is number, because they're how many doors. What the group does it belong to? Well, we'll just say D for doors. What category? And we'll say the category is passage door, so we can find it easier later on for passage door. And the Plan Swift measurement type is a count, how many of them. So that's all we need as far as that's concerned. You could put a note in here. I won't slow this video down and make it too large by typing a note, but you could type all the componentry that's involved. Let's start over here. So I add a new component. First we'll go to is jams. So in the category here I'll hit J for jams. I'll say jams, and we'll say the 93 by 19 is the ones we want. Double left click on that, and we want one at 5.1. Add that to the total and close. And we'll get now the stops. So we'll come over here and S for stops down here, and that is this one. And we'll say we want one length at 5.1 again. Add that to the total. Update. Reset this. And now we want to get architraves. A for architraves. There. And we'll get this 42 by 12 bullnose. Now we want 2 at 5.4 in architraves. Close that. I'll close this at the moment and just give you a view of what's happened so far. So there's all the mouldings that have been put in there. Let's add some hardware now. We'll just keep working up the way you would hang the door. So we want to come over here and get some hinges. And we want her lines. Want 2 of those. Add the total and update. Let's get the screws, S for screws here. And these posi drives, I've got them in here as lots of a dozen. So in fact we want 1 dozen of those. So what have we got so far? We've got the mouldings, we've got the hinges and the screws. We need the lock now. Come over here, we'll say locks. So we want to get a want a latch, one of those. We want Gainsborough passage set, one of those. You can have any sort of locks in here you want. Clearly, there's no restriction on how many you can have. Okay, so we want the privacy adapter. We're still on locks here. Yes, there's a privacy adapter. One of those. Add the total and update. So we've got all the locks in there. Let's put some carpenter's labour in here too, So we'll come over here to C for carpenter. Carpenter. And carpenter by the hour. Carpenter labour. Now this calculator gives you how many workers, so you could have 2 men for 1 hour, or we can say in this instance we've got 1 man for 1 hour. Add to the total and update and close. So far there's our assemblies done. So let's recap. We've got the carpenter's labour, the stops, the architraves, the jam, the screws, the hinges, the passage set, the privacy adapter and the latch. Let's add a door stop, catch. So we'll come over here and hit S for stops again. And you've got this one here. We got one of those. Add the total and update and return. So there we have it. There's our assembly. It's completed. So we can identify it by its unique ID or its name or its group or its category. So let's test it. Now say we had 10 doors. What do we get in the bill of quantity? We'll put this up on the screen and you'll see here that there's your bill of quantity for 10 doors. So labour, if it's 1 hour for one door, that's 10 hours for the carpenter. If 1 at 5.1 gives you 51 metres for 10 doors, and so on. You'll notice everything in here is totally correct to the way we designed that or created that assembly. Let's have a look at the cutting list. We end up with 10 at 5.1 for the stops, 20 at 5.4 for the architraves, and 10 at 5.1 for the jams. So they're correct also. Let's have a look at the components. We can print these components out if you want to keep this in a folder somewhere. So there you have it. That's how you create an assembly. You can create any sort of an assembly you like. Later on I might create others, but that'll give you the process on how you do it. So there you have it, and that assembly now is in here ready to be used in any number of estimates that we want. Oh, incidentally, let's go back to that assembly. Say for argument's sake, jam materials, I've got them in there at $8.51 a metre. Say they went up in price. This ID here is the ID of the price list item. So if I double left click on that, I can come here into the price list and say, oh, they're gone up to $9.10. And I'll say set B the same as A. And there you have it. It updates the date it was updated and updates the price. And close that there. And you'll see now that the price has been altered. So you can update the prices of any item from within an assembly or from within an estimate, which I'll demonstrate later as well. So there you have it. That's how you create an assembly. That's the end of this video.